Well, guys, quite honestly, I can't ever think of any television shows ever that had more working titles than Agatha. Well, I guess we're calling it Darkhold Diaries now. And that brings us to a little bit of a theory that we have on why there are so many names for this upcoming show. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about the upcoming Agatha series, what Marvel Studios is doing, and why all the name changes throughout the course of production. Well, as it stands right now, it looks like Agatha will eventually make it to Disney Plus sometime around Halloween of 2024. The character of Agatha Harkness, played by Kathryn Hahn, was introduced in WandaVision, and the show closed out with her being defeated by Wanda Maximoff and sentenced to live out her life in Westview under the spell of the Scarlet Witch. Now, we've known for a while Agatha is coming back to the Marvel Universe when we first heard about Agatha House of Harkness. Now, since then, we have heard multiple other names. The list of names keeps growing, but we've heard, of course, House of Harkness. There also has been Coven of Chaos. We've heard the show is called Agnes of Westview. There's also the current name of Agatha the Darkhold Diaries, and then finally just Agatha. Now, for a while, many people have been speculating this is a lot of chaos behind the scenes, but I'm actually starting to wonder if there is a very specific reason for each title change, and that ties directly into the show. Now, the show itself is going to have 9 episodes, and as of right now, we are up to 5 different titles, and the show is more than a year away. This has led us to developing a bit of a theory, and I think I know what Marvel Studios is doing here and why they're changing up all the titles. Now, each of these titles is pretty unique and very separate, but when you start to think about the episode count and the titles, they really start to come into focus. And I think each one of these titles, or the title changes, might actually be associated with a specific episode. When you look at some of the titles like Agatha of Westview, well, that certainly sounds like episode 1 when we picked the story up after the events of WandaVision. House of Harkness could very easily be a flashback episode to her time with the Harkness family and her mother, who was part of an existing flashback sequence in Westview. Coven of Chaos could definitely be the arrival of that coven in Westview as they seek out Agatha. We've heard it's going to be the Salem 7 coming after Agatha. They will all be her sisters, who were the remaining coven members after she fled Salem. Then you look at Darkhold Diaries, which definitely sounds like an episode name for the show, and then the name Agatha standing by itself, well, that to me sounds like a finale. Now, obviously, this is just a theory of ours, but these pieces are already in place, and I don't think Marvel is just willy-nilly changing the name of the project behind the scenes over and over again. I do believe if Marvel was going to change the name just once, they would basically have held out till production was over and kept this card, well, as close to the chest as humanly possible to the last minute. I can't imagine a management decision okaying the title being changed 3 times, and we have some prospective other titles and just Agatha alone. This definitely doesn't sound like something a professional media company would do, and I think there's definitely other reasons. Now, we're going to have a long time before we see any news of Agatha since the show doesn't come out till next year. Word is the show has been filmed and is currently in post-production, but I'm sure they're going to need pickups, rewrites, and reshoots. All of that will be dependent on the strike getting resolved, so the show itself and any more actual news for the show could be a little ways off. When we finally get to see some of Agatha's magic, well, we're going to have to wait and see.